Oh, yeah. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Matic here. In today's episode, we're doing a spoiler-free review of the new John Wick movie, John Wick Chapter 4.
Get it bloody.
So, quick overview. John Wick Chapter 4. Is it worth seeing? If nothing else, if you like completing movie series, definitely go see it. You really won't be disappointed. It is a good movie. Good movie, because English is very important, despite how many languages the John Wick series uses. But, it's a great movie. Great, good, whatever. It's got good action sequences, good shooting sequences, storyline, follows. It's literally a continuation of the others. There is a conclusion, good conclusion. Kind of everything's tied up in a nice little web. And kind of the only spoiler I'll give you, there is an end credits scene. So, if you're one of those people that like staying at the end of credits, please do see it. Alright, so the story. So the story of John Wick Chapter 4 is essentially, John Wick is still being hunted by the high table. Basically, the group of individuals that oversee the, what would we even call them this? I mean, the John Wick universe, but like, I guess the Continental organization or something like that. They were thinking of doing a TV series called, I'm pretty sure called The Continental. I don't know if they're going to continue with that. I think that concept was scrapped, or they might try to revise it, which would be pretty cool. So, John Wick is still being hunted down by the high table. They do find out he is still alive, because he is going around and trying to take out the people that are in charge of sending people to kill him. It's like an inception of killing and bullets and gung fu. But, so, it gets to a point to where a person, they find out he's alive, and, you know, John Wick, Baba Yaga. Such a dangerous man that the high table essentially gives a man that goes by his title, or he's called, like, the Marquis. They give him executive decision powers or whatever to essentially do a lot of things without having to worry about many of the rules. And he starts going after John Wick's friends. One of them is played by Donnie Yen, and the other one is played, I looked it up, I think it was Hiroyuki Sanada. You've probably seen him in other films. Lately, he was in the film Bullet Train with Brad Pitt. And the first time I ever saw him, he was in the movie The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. He actually got to hit Tom Cruise with a wooden sword, so good for him. So they're technically John's two friends from when he used to be an actual assassin and part of the group. They start going after him. They wind up coming to a decision to where, okay, let's finish this and we'll just have a one-on-one duel. And about half of the action or so happens after the decision to have the duel. And boy, is there a lot of action. For those of you that like them, there is a new dog in the film. And he does good. He is a good boy. May not be the goodest of boys, but he is a good boy. And so from the duel, there's some little twists and turns involved with the duel. Some really big suspense. If you're an analytical person to the films, you kind of like realize, oh, I see what's about to happen. But you're still like on the edge of your seat, like, how's it gonna go? It's like, oh, awesome. So there is a really good conclusion. This does end this particular story, this particular John Wick story, or this chapter in the John Wick universe. There is an actual conclusion. It's a good conclusion. And it's really good. I really don't think that anybody's going to be really disappointed. They shouldn't be. It's a really good film. It's going to make tons of money. A lot of people are going to like it. It's great. All right, so something about the John Wick films, especially from John Wick 2 to John Wick 4, is, so the last three films have essentially been, have technically been like a gun advertisement or product placement in John Wick 2 when he has to serve that marker that he really doesn't want to do, but he kind of has to. The guns introduced there were the Benelli M4. Really good shotgun. It's been in military service for decades. The Marines swear by it. I'm pretty sure if it was just able to do a couple of more things, or they had more options for ammo, that's all they would carry. The Benelli M4 is awesome. Then they had the Terran Tactical AR-15. Pretty sure it had extended magazines, a flared magwell, Trigicon 1x6, maybe a 1x8 LPVO, and a 45 red dot. Then they had the Terran Tactical Glock 34 Combat Master. Really good gun. It's their own customization stuff. John Wick 3. You primarily had the MPX, which is the SIG 9mm version of the SIG MPX, which shoots bigger calibers, more powerful calibers. Then you also had the TTI Staccato Grandmaster, which is a 2011 or double stack 1911 pistol that performed very, very well. Then you had in John Wick 4 the main gun that they advertise in this one is the Staccato Pit Viper. The Pit Viper's actually been out for a good while. I'm pretty sure that Matt from Demolition Ranch took a Pit Viper that's technically the way it is built and constructed, and like it's basically a race gun or a competition gun. He took this gun and went to, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be like a combat shooting course, or course school thing or whatever. You can go see it. Pretty cool. Put the link in the description. So John Wick 4 was a product placement for the Staccato Pit Viper, as well as the Gen 12 or Genesis 12 gauge shotgun. It is a semi-automatic shotgun in an AR platform. It has a flared magwell, uses box-fed magazines, and apparently operates very, very well. Alright, so the introduction of these guns into the movie. The Staccato Pit Viper is introduced to John Wick by Lawrence Fishburne's character, the Bowery King. He gives the Pit Viper to John to carry in order to allow him to get to the place of the duel. The duel, they have to be there at dawn, 6:03 a.m. in the morning, or they forfeit the duel, and then they're dead. So John's on a time clock. So the Bowery King gives John the Pit Viper as his personal firearm to get from point A to the duel. Cool. It's like, it's a pit. It's like the main reason it's kind of a pistol is because he's going to be going through the streets. He doesn't want to be showing like that he's carrying. Pistol's very easy to conceal, especially wearing that nice three-piece suit. Now, the Gen 12 or Genesis 12 gauge shotgun is introduced by belonging to one of the groups trying to attack John. And during an altercation, he winds up gaining possession of one and uses it within a building complex. That the cinematography, the way that the camera pans around the area and stuff is actually really, really cool. I personally can't really think of an instance where that was done. I'm pretty sure it was. If it wasn't, it was still really awesome to see. And they actually use a special type of ammo within that shotgun called Dragon's Breath. For those of you that don't know what Dragon's Breath is, the most popular company that makes Dragon's Breath is Phoenix Rising. And they say that they make the most efficient and best form of Dragon's Breath. Supposedly you can shoot out to 200 yards with it. Dragon's Breath, all it mostly is a shotgun shell with gunpowder and magnesium shavings in the front of it. Magnesium is basically what you would use on fire starter rods. You would shave a little bit of shavings, strike your ferro rod to throw sparks on the magnesium, and that helps create your first starting flame for like survival type stuff. So that's in the shotgun. The gunpowder ignites, explodes, lights the magnesium as it exits your barrel, and big fireball. Really scary. The only thing is, there's no actual, in most Dragon's Breath, there's no actual projectile in Dragon's Breath. So, technically you're fine. Unless you're wearing very, very flammable clothes. Like, they might burn, they might melt, but you're not really being lit on fire. The only version that I think that Phoenix Rising has that actually has a projectile is their 3-inch magnums, which have 6 double-aught buck in the shell, as well as fire. So, yeah, that would mess you up. Whenever the film comes out on DVD or whatever, if you pause, like they actually show a Phoenix Rising box for the ammo, which is actually good product placement. I'm pretty sure it's just a 2 3/4 size 12-gauge shotgun, so it's not going to really have a projectile. So some of the people that are dying from the shotgun blast really shouldn't. One guy does catch on fire, though. So that happens. Now, there actually is a new character that is introduced to this. He is a guy that is tracking John. He's the one with the new puppy. And he actually has this really, really cool gun. It is a breakdown lever action rifle. Don't quite know what caliber rifle. They didn't really advertise it, which I think is terrible. It's like, that'd be really awesome. The barrel is probably about it's maybe a 12-inch barrel, 12 or so. And he literally pulls it out of a backpack that he carries with him, attaches it to the receiver, and bop, bop, and he uses it to take people out. It's a really cool firearm. I just kind of wish during the advertisement or whatever, that would have been one of the guns that was like introduced. But most people only care about John Wick's guns. Sure. Okay, so we all kind of know, or those that are in the gun industry or are into guns, like really into guns and want realistic gunfights and stuff like that, which the first, second, and third John Wick films did very, very well. They kind of dropped the ball on the fourth one. And what I mostly mean by that is the cardinal sin within gunfights of unlimited ammo. And because I'm pretty sure that when John grabs the Pit Viper, the pistol, in the box that is presented it, I'm pretty sure there's only 4 mags. And they carry 21 rounds each. So that's 84 rounds. Let's say we put one in the chamber. 85. 85 rounds. And the Genesis 12, I'm pretty sure the largest mag for that is a 10-round mag. And for those of you that don't know shotguns that use box magazines, they're enormous. Because a 12-gauge shotgun is essentially, if you include the rim, are like somewhere 3/4 of an inch. So stack 10 of those, and you're literally looking at a mag about this long. They might make 15-round mags, which just makes it like so much bigger. But for sure, I'm pretty sure they do the unlimited ammo thing with the Pit Viper because he just shoots so many people with that gun. So many people. either so many people or fires so many shots. There's essentially, I'm pretty sure there's no way he stays under 80 rounds. You would have, and for people that say like, oh, he probably picked up mags from other people. This is a 2011, a double stacked 1911 gun. These guns have only been getting popular, really popular, within the last like 6 years. While they're popular, or the brand, the hype for them is high. Not a whole lot of people actually have them because they're stupid expensive on the low end. And the magazines, like if you have the gun, you need the magazines. So the likelihood of him actually being able to find spare mags, like just on anybody, is extremely low. Most people are going to carry what? Glocks, M&Ps. Nowadays, FN's been getting pretty hype. And maybe HKs. They show a lot. HKs actually had quite a bit of stuff in the movies, but you're not going to really be finding 2011 mags. So he's kind of shooting himself in the foot. Pretty sure he shot other people in the foot. So I'm pretty sure they have unlimited ammo with the Pit Viper, and pretty sure they also do it with the Gen 12, because during the building sequence when he's using the shotgun and stuff, he shoots at least more than 10. At least more than 10 rounds before you possibly see him try to either reload or dig a mag off of another person to reinsert. He shoots at least more than 10. If he's using a 15-round magazine, you're cutting it really close, right? You're cutting it really, 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 really close. Because I'm pretty sure when he got the gun, it already tried to been shot at him. He got it, shot someone else, and they just went and mowed down people. Sequence is still cool, but I started to be like, that's more than 10. You're approaching 14, 15. I'm not quite sure because I didn't really start counting until now. So if nothing else, with the Pit Viper, they broke it. Or the Cardinal Sin. Really, meh. Alright, so the gun fu, or fight sequences. So one of the characters that they had in the film, Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen, to me, is awesome. I really love Donnie Yen. As a martial artist, I like him. And as a film martial artist, I really like him. If you allow Donnie Yen to do his thing and show his abilities, you will always have an amazing fight scene. And they allow him to do that. It's really cool the way that they have his character and to see his behavior and the way that he fights with the way his character is set up is really, really cool. The fight sequences are good. He does wind up fighting John for personal reasons. And the fight sequences they do is really cool. And like you won't be disappointed. If you are a Donnie Yen fan, you're going to love it. For Sonatas, I'm pretty sure, Hiroyuki Sanada, I'm really sorry if I can't remember the first name, but Sanada. For Sanada, I need to look up what his actual training is. He does good fight scenes, but they usually wind up being somewhat basic to intermediate level. But they're still good, which he usually uses Japanese swordsmanship. So that kind of actually works. His Japanese swordsmanship is typically very, very basic. There's not like a whole lot of like spinning around and like stuff that you usually see in like some forms of European swordplay, or especially Chinese or Kung Fu swordplay. Japanese swordsmanship is usually pretty straightforward. There's a couple little things, but it's usually pretty basic, and basic does work. But the fight sequences he does is pretty good too. For John Wick's fight sequences, for the past 3 films, especially the first one, but the last 3, like, exceptionally so, he's been doing a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu stuff. And it works. He does very, very, very good techniques while incorporating a gun. And I think there's a little bit of knife that he uses. But the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is incorporated very, very well. And quite a bit of it makes sense. Some of it doesn't. I get it. It's a film. What looks good on film doesn't really apply to what's on the street. I get that. But as a martial artist, my brain always goes, that didn't work. But that's just me. But for entertainment value and at least get the creative brain juices for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys, it's a great thing to see. It's like, can that actually work? Can we incorporate it? Whatever. His sequences are done pretty well. So, kind of one of the things that I didn't like about this film is the sequence of events or certain things that happen only happen for plot reasons. And that's kind of it. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. But another thing that I kind of didn't like is in John Wick 2, they introduced the bulletproof or bullet-resistant 3-piece suit. Right? We all know the scene when he goes to the place in Italy, Rome, and he's getting his guns, he's getting his suit and all that stuff. It's like, so they make a bulletproof version of it. And he kind of has that in John Wick 3. It's not shown quite as much, but I think it is technically there. Actually, if I remember right, he turns the suit in, and he's just wearing a normal one. That's kind of why he gets messed up throughout the film quite a bit. But in the fourth one, almost everybody's bulletproof. Like, literally almost everybody's bulletproof. It's like a lot of them's like, oh, they start being shot at or whatever, they just like grab their lapel and like pull it up like a mini shield. And it's just too much. It's just a little too much to deal with. And the second one, you actually see them get shot with it. They fall down, and they're like, oh man, it's like, that actually really hurts. And this one, man, and then they go back to shooting. Like, it's not really showing that the bullets affect them. I don't know about you or me, but if I got shot with 5 rounds of 9mm hitting at like, let's see, 6 feet away with almost muzzle velocity energy, I'm going to sit down and say I'm done. Like, nah, boss.
I'm tired, boss.
So, I kind of hated that, like, so many people were bulletproof. And there are some people who weren't bulletproof at all. They just get shot. So, the tone of this movie is somewhat serious, because John's got, like, the suspense is John's got to get to this place or he's going to forfeit his life. But there's actually quite a few funny moments within the film. Quite a few of them, like, involve the dog, because the dog winds up doing things. You're like, oh, no, don't do that. But there's also other things that, like, some of the characters do that, like, kind of wind up being funny. So, yeah, so the tone of the movie is pretty good. The story or overall plot of the movie is pretty good. The guns are cool. The gunplay, the fight sequences, those are done really well. There's a couple of things that, yeah, I wish they hadn't done or whatever. That's nitpicking or whatever. The movie, overall, very awesome, very cool. It does complete this overall, not really chapters, like book, right, novel of John Wick. And the way the ending cutscene is done does lead to a possibility of a continuation. So they might be doing the Continental series, they might not, but the ending or the post-credit ending, I believe, leads to an extension of the John Wick universe, which would be really awesome. So this was a review of John Wick Chapter 4. I highly suggest you go see it. I'm Matic, and I'll see y'all next time. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Matic here. In today's episode, we're doing a review. Spoiler. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, everybody?